Hi again. This review I want to pick up from the same By Kilian Perfume as an Art Addictive State of Mind series package that I started reviewing in my last video. And this one, in this video, I would like to talk about Light My Fire, which is the second scent right there. So, Light My Fire, like most Kilian's unisex fragrance from By Kilian, released last year. I think the whole set was released last year. The nose behind the fragrance is Sidonie Lancasseur, who has done about half a dozen other fragrances for Kilian, and who is also the nose behind Lumière Blanche by Olfactive Studios. So I always like to read some of the advertising material around a fragrance, especially when you can tell that the nose is a really practiced artist. It took real, true inspiration from the words in the material. Unfortunately, I find ad material from a lot of the designer fragrances a little bit too much on the sex, drugs, and rock and rollish end for my taste. But a lot of the ones in niche lines have more sort of classical, novelistic, sort of artsy things to go off of, and I liked this little bit. So niche advert releases, sometimes you can tell that they've pushed the perfumer in a certain direction and given them the sort of creativity to follow a certain storyline. So here's what I found on, maybe it was the Kilian website, about Light My Fire. So cigar leaves languorously unrolled and fantastically reconstructed to run smoke rings around the imagination, and the soft blue veil of the vapor musing on the loved one's face, to paraphrase Rudyard Kipling, imperial poet and aficionado of Cuban cigar smokes. There you go. So, according to Fragrantica, the list of important notes is pretty sparse. You have cumin, hay, patchouli, vetiver, honey, vanilla, and tobacco. And I think I pick up at least one or two other things, and I'll mention those below. So right off the top, when you spray the fragrance, you get a very, very sweet blast of honey and vanilla. It sort of reminds me of the fizz of a freshly opened root beer, almost. If you're familiar with your synthetic aroma chemicals, I'm sure everyone is, right? It smells like a really heady dose of piperanol, or piperanol, which is also known as heliotropin, which can really sort of give the same sugary effect. In fact, someone on Fragrantica said that the opening smells like opening a Dr. Pepper, and I can certainly see where they're coming from there. However, as time wears on, the sweetness dies down a lot, and I'm left with, at least on my skin, a sort of spicy, honeyed vetiver with tobacco. There also might be an ever so slight smokiness in the background. There frankly should be, considering this is one of the 3 fragrances from the Addictive State of Mind series, like I mentioned, which claims that it's composed around narcotic smokes. I've also tried Intoxicated. I think I mentioned in the last video that I have tried all 3, and Intoxicated, from the same collection, it's the first one, sort of let me down when I tried it, and I didn't even catch the faintest whiff of anything really smoky or earthy in it. On my skin, Light My Fire, it continues and develops sort of turns into a soft, barely sweet leather fragrance. I really enjoyed it once the honey and or vanilla and or heliotropin began to go away, so you can get the smell of all the darker notes that I really personally enjoy more. The longevity on this one is fine. It's 6 to 7 hours, which is a little bit better than Smoke for the Soul. And it has moderate projection, I'd say. The problem with this fragrance, and like I said, I'm going to say this again, just like I did in the last video, I really do think that the price is uncalled for and totally, just unjustified is the word I'm looking for. It's unjustified. The suggested retail price for Light My Fire is $270 for 50 mils. If you do the math, that's $5.40 per milligram. A milligram is probably what I wear in one wearing. I mean, to walk out the door and think that you have, $5 or $6 worth of perfume on you is funny. I'm sorry, but no, just no. It's too much. It's too much money for how it performs, I think. I realize they probably spare no expense in the composition, but I think it would make more sense if they charge half the price and maybe reach a market that's a little bit more, more than twice as big, and maybe therefore increase their profit margin. I mean, I'm certainly not a business major, and I have no idea how much By Kilian makes in profit from the selling of one bottle, but I know that a 50 ml refill is $170, where the bottle is $270. So I'm thinking that if a refill is $100 less, then they're charging a lot for just that, the bottle and the initial presentation. So, I know this is a luxury product and not everyone is meant to be able to afford it, but there simply has to come a point where, things start to get ridiculous and people just have to say something in passing like I am now. Simply because of the price, I would never ever buy a bottle of this, but I'm certainly glad I got my hands on a sample. It smells very, very nice. And I'm very, very grateful to the friend who gave it to me. She knows who she is. I won't mention her name, but it's a shame it costs what it does, but it smells lovely. Light My Fire by Kilian, one of the Addictive State of Mind series, one of 3. See you guys later.